Hi everyone. Just in case somebody's here already, I just probably should close the window for a second. Oh, yeah, whatever. Who cares? Hey Sanska, how are you? Thanks for chiming in. Hey Tyler, how are you? Happy New Year. So I will just, jump because I think the session could be both, like very boring to be honest, but also a little bit hopefully informative or entertaining, infotaining, because I'm currently creating my, my orchestral template. Hey Abacachi, hola, how are you? So I'm just switching to my desktop here for a second. And let's see if this works out. So I'm basically doing nothing really, but just, working on my template. So I thought, to be honest, it's kind of boring to do that. So why not doing this live? Hey Nico, hey I. Don't make such a sad face. Hey Monte Music Channel. Hey Tyler K. Hey Pablo. How are you guys? You have problems with the MIDI controllers using Abbey Road 1. They sometimes work, sometimes they don't. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really familiar with the Abbey Road player. I just use it because of Abbey Road 1, but I'm not really sure what MIDI controller do you have. So, as you can see right now, this session is completely empty here. And I'm just, about to create or continue creating my template. So what I get currently loaded in here is I got Vista in here. So, and the reason why I want to do this or this live stream is actually because it may be, kind of interesting to see how I do it. You may know this already. You may do this way better than I do. But I just thought it's it's kind of cool to go back. Let me just pull this up here to go back to Vienna Ensemble Pro and host all my instruments in here, because to be honest, I got kind of sick because of the loading and the saving time. So currently what I have in here is currently is 86, so I'm not even done with the strings yet. So this is pretty new. I started this, actually I started it a few hours ago, and I just have like 86 instruments in here. But if I just save the session, it just takes like 3 or 4 seconds, and that's it. And it just saves like 3 or 4 seconds, and this is way better than just waiting for all the contact instances and everything to react inside Studio One. Oh, I understand. Yeah, of course. I wanted to do like a German tutorial, German video, but the problem is always time. It's not like I have 24 hours a day working and doing stuff, so I just have to find the time. So if I get like a new product or something, or there's a new sample library that has been released, I just have to make sure to just, if I have the time to do it in German, I also have to do it in English too. And so I just have to find a little bit of time, and the recent month, to be honest, were a little bit stressy, so I just have to find the time, and this will definitely happen this year when everything is a little bit quieter, when all my health issues during the last weeks are sorted out. So it's I just once in a while need to relax too, but it will definitely happen. Anyway, I didn't say that I will do it like within a week or within like 2 weeks. I will definitely do this, but I just have to find the time to do it. So this is what we currently have here. We have Vista in here, and so we got like all that. Sounds pretty cool. So we got the legato cellos in here. Hey Gunwood Studio, Happy New Year. Metal PT 147. The microphone I'm using is the SM. I always have to check the SM7B by Shure or Shure. I don't know how you speak that, how you pronounce that. SM7B, and I run it through a Rodecaster that is placed over here with all the internal Rodecaster effects on there. So I just want to continue working on implementing the new Berlin symphonic strings by Orchestral Tools. They sound very nice, very beautiful. So I just continue doing this here in Vienna Ensemble Pro. So basically I got this this lot in here. So I already loaded all the instances: sustain, legato, sustain soft, sustains accented, marcato long short, staccato spiccato, pizzicato, tremolo, trills, rapid legato, pattern legato. I want to have the full load in here. So what I'm doing right now is that I am on, make sure that I'm on 11 all MIDI ports, and then I can just jump over to Studio One and create the tracks. So I would have to probably use my other monitor to quickly, or make it like this. This should work. So you can see too what is going on, but then it probably most likely doesn't stay on top. So we just have to do legato, sustain, sustain soft, sustain accented. So I simply duplicate this, and then I just say, well, let's do it. It's 13 instances. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we got sus. Then we have sustain soft, sustain accented, and then we have to route this 11-1, 11-2, 11-3, 11-4. Oh, very nice. Sustain accented. So the next would be, probably just have to do this, drag it on the other monitor so I can quickly type that in here. So the sustain accented. Then we have marcato long, marcato short. Then we have staccato, spiccato, pizzicato, tremolo. We need more. Okay, just have to sort this out. 11-5, 11-6. 11-8. It's kind of tricky to not get confused with all the instances in here. Yeah, I'm just reading the chat. Yeah, there are no German language tutorials about trailer on YouTube. That would maybe also have more followers. You know, the tricky thing is, if I do German videos on my channel that has been always international, always English speaking, and suddenly I start doing German videos, this would maybe involve creating another YouTube channel. And because it could easily happen that suddenly everything or everyone who is about to watch English speaking streams will suddenly be disappointed and just unsubscribe from the channels, from my channel. I mean, if there are like 50 or 100 people unsubscribing because they can't stand German language or anything, that wouldn't be a problem. But I always have to make sure to also kind of a little bit be there for doing some stuff towards the algorithm. So maybe I will switch that and do German tutorials on Twitch soon and keep the English speaking stuff on on YouTube. So I could do that. I will just probably most likely go with Twitch and go with like mixed up stuff, also more gaming, and just go on YouTube Live to just talk about the music stuff, because I mean, this is where my crowd basically is. There are a lot of followers over there on Twitch already, and Twitch, I really love that platform. It's really great to use, but I will just do a few tests and see how it performs when I do that on YouTube, because this is where, basically my channel is for around, I don't know, like 15 years now. I don't know. I think I started in 2008, so not really. It's like 12, 13 years. I got my channel already. Hey, DJ Adam, nice to see you here. Tyler K, yes, you're right. There aren't really English tutorials on trailer music. It's the same for game music. There are a few videos out there, but not really like a like a like a huge library of videos. So I just have to be careful to not get messed up here. So we just have to do 11:10, 11:11, 11:12, 11:13. I will just explain in a moment what I'm doing here right now, just in case if you're not familiar with Vienna Ensemble Pro. I used the software a long time ago, and there were a few things happening I didn't like, but also, like hardware and Vienna Ensemble Pro or V Pro, kind of evolved into something very, very beautiful and very, very helpful. And now with all the, all the cores and all the memory options and everything you have, things turn out to work quite well. So we have tremolos. Now let's make this next one trills. Then we have the rapid legato, rapid leg. I think I did a mistake somewhere in here. I should have known. Staccato short, staccato, spiccato, pizzicato. Oh, there. This is definitely not pizzicato. Okay, we were 11:9 here. Skip that. 11:10. 11:11. 11. And then 12:13. Okay, that's it. So pizzicato, tremolo, trills. Now we have the rapid legato and we have the pattern legato. Okay, so basically how DJ Adam, no, I don't have a slave or some kind of like a additional computer. It's all running on the same computer here. And actually I'm not doing it because to save memory or to have more options available. I think my machine so far is pretty big, and I'm not the guy who's running like 2,000 or 3,000 tracks. I mean, we will see when the template is finished. What I'm currently, I just have to check what currently is the power I'm having loaded in here. So currently, just have to put that over. It's all in German. So there you got your German potion. of the stream. So my Arbeitsspeicher, my RAM, my memory is currently like 39 gigabytes used. So what I have loaded so far, so rough throat again, sore throat. So what I have loaded again right now is Vista by Performance Samples. Then we got the Abbey Road 1, but just the strings, low and high strings. Then we got Cinematic Studio strings loaded. And then we have Berlin strings. Basically just until the violins 2. So the other thing that is missing is violins 1. So basically I want to do this. If I save the session as I demonstrated before, it just takes like 3, 4, 5 seconds to load. So if I save a session with like 100, 200 or 300 instances of contact, no matter if the session is deactivated or if the samples are purged or anything, it always takes quite a bit. So imagine if I want to bring that up to like 400 or 500 tracks, I can easily see that should be brass. Probably delete that before. So I want to probably bring the session to a good amount of like 400 or 500, maybe 600 tracks or anything with all the percussions and everything in here, and then be able to load the synth and everything, just doing, going over here, instruments, and just load everything what I want, like Massive X, Nexus or whatever, Perk X, Pre-Pro 1, just drag and drop this over and use that inside. So I don't want to use this template for everything, but maybe just the resource intensive stuff to just minimize the loading or the saving times. And the great thing, I can detach this template from that session and simply load another session and go on and continue working instead of waiting for like 10 minutes to load the entire session again. But of course, with all the, the multi-cores, it will definitely help because you have like this option in here. I've seen that in, let me just save that too. When you go over here, you can say that you can distribute threads of the multiprocessing to each instance. So if I have like 4 instances in here and I have 4 threads, I maybe put this down to 3 or 2, or let's see how it performs later on. But this is just this is no biggie. So maybe I'm using like 12 cores, 12 to 16 cores, or 16 threads because it's virtual, right? So I got 18 cores. So I have 36 threads. So, keeping in mind to do a little bit of keeping some space for the streaming, some CPU power and everything, I will probably end up using, I don't know, like 12 to 16 cores for all the orchestral stuff. Any tips on improving trailer music? Yeah, there aren't much resources online. I think the best thing you can do is listen to music around and just try to achieve that sound by layering libraries. And also you need some great sounding libraries for that. It's pretty difficult. There is a lot of free stuff out there, but if you compare, the epic attack of the staccato samples in Nucleus, you probably don't find this in a free pack, where you have a few samples. I mean, free packs are always great, but mostly they are to, create attention from a company to their stuff, which is totally legit. I do that too, of course, but I think the quality of the samples is very important, the quality of the sounds. I just missed some water. Let me just quickly grab some water. Okay, there we go. Well, to be honest, if you got Arc 1, Albion 1 Serum, and the Keep Forest freebies, you should be good to go. definitely. It's just a matter of trial and error, you know, just to just get this stuff together, and probably don't think too much in general about, you know, if you have like 36 trombones playing, then you have 36 trombones playing. Trailer music is not about to preserving the naturalness, let's say it like this, the naturalness of an orchestra. Why did the music stop playing? Oh, it didn't. It's just a very soft track. Okay. So it's very soft. Yeah, it's kind of like a trial and error thing. You know, you're using the entire orchestra as sounds, the same as you do, you know, like a rock band or like, you know, EDM elements or synth elements. I've seen people struggling, you know, when I'm writing trailer music, what do I have to do from the orchestra? You have to screw that entire attitude that an orchestra is like. Of course, there is an orchestra, but when you do trailer music, you're just borrowing instruments from an orchestra. Nobody cares if you, the only thing that cares, does it sound good? Does it sound dense or thick? So you just have to really know what you're doing, and it's kind of complicated to get into that within, you know, like a single video. But it's just a lot of trial and error on how to get these. We will do a lot more videos on this topic on my channel. That's for sure. This is Lance. Thanks for a question. I hope you will cover best practices on a template in which some projects use different settings. To be honest, yes, of course. I mean, I may from project to project vary the microphone settings or anything, but what I find way more interesting is to use different libraries for a project. So for example, maybe I just have to write for strings, and then I find that the, you know, like the Vista Legato violins work best with, you know, like the cinematic studio strings, or maybe the project in that project I just want to use the Berlin symphonic strings, maybe coupled with a nucleus, or maybe only Berlin symphonic strings. And also no reverb, no additional reverb. So I just have to want to decide from project to project what is, you know, asked for. If a client asked for, you know, we just want to have that, let's say, that Abbey Road Studio One sound, then I can say, of course, great. So I got my, you know, Abbey Road Studio One set up here and can say, okay, I can just create the string sound that has been recorded in that, you know, in that legendary Abbey Road Studio One, where scores have been recorded like Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, and so on. Okay, so let me get into a little bit. Tyler, just quickly answering your question. Do you have to be a certain age to send stuff? Well, most likely it's the best thing that you're 18, because then you can sign all the contracts and the legal stuff. And to be honest, I would use the time before you get 18 to just practice, you know, to just get well, just get good in what you do. There is no reason to rush things. If you are a composer, if you want to build your business, in my opinion, there is no reason to get into, you know, like a big trailer company with 15 or 16, because it most likely won't happen. Just to be realistic, you want to gather, let's say, like at least 5 to 10 years of experience. And if you get, you know, into that professionalism with like 22, 23 or something, then you've learned enough to go there. But I mean, it takes like 2 or 3 years anyway until you see like the first money. So, you know, you could start right now, but I'm not really sure if it would be the best to do so, unless you're like super, super skilled and you slam out, the best sounding and, tracks with the most emotion and most impact, then, if you are that good, you will probably most likely get hired from a company and be invited to write for them. So, yes, I'm reading the Evident courses. They are expensive, yes, but the thing is, you could do trial and error and research for like years, or you could just invest, I'm not really sure what it is, like 200 or something, and just save tons of hours of research because somebody else puts this is the thing of courses, right? Somebody gets out for like 2 or 3 years, or maybe 10 or 15 years or 20 years of experience and puts it into a course. So you can buy these, a certain amount of that time, 10, 15 years of experience you can buy for like 200 or 300 euros. So that's totally legit. Hey Navi, how are you? Thanks for being here. Saying hi back. Okay, so the articulations in that template. So let me just quickly go over it, what I'm currently doing here. So what I created or what I loaded was the Vienna Ensemble Pro plugin, right? So you just drag it over and then you connect this. And you also load the server of, I just have to find where it is here. So let's go over to the mixer. So what I'm doing right now is that I create a new instrument. So this is everything I'm using. Native Instruments Contact. I got the orchestral tool Sign Player, and I got the Spitfire Audio Abbey Road. Maybe I will add the BBC, but whatever. Just these three for now. To just keep it, keep a little bit of an overview. Basically, I got 4 instances on that server template. So I got strings, I got my brass here. I didn't do anything so far. I got my woods here. Let me just close these things here. And the percussions. So I will most likely do maybe, like orchestral percussions and then add a new instance. Let's do that right now. So I could, add a new instance in here and just change the color to something more like this. I don't know. I'm always picky when it comes to this. Let's do this. So, and then I can say, I don't know. I always like when I just write movie percussions. So I could do it like this. What I do right now here is that I just have the first instance loaded. So if I just hop over here and load another instance, I can connect this to Vienna Ensemble, the second instance, to the brass. But so far, I'm not even done with all the strings. So there's nothing in here right now. So let's create a new... Let me just get rid of this track here. Remove track. So let me just load a new instance here. And the articulations and everything, that's what you asked. I got, for example, on Vista, I just loaded one contact instance. I just put everything in here. So it's basically multi-timbral. I honestly don't like to work with multi-timbral, but it doesn't make sense to load single instruments in in Vienna Ensemble Pro, because you're just saving a little bit of memory. It may be just a few megabytes, but if you run into, I think if it likes like 50 megabytes per instance, and then you have like, 100 instances or something, it's like 5 gigabytes. And I have 128 gigabytes. So this may be just 5 gigabytes, may not be that much. But if you end up with like 500 tracks or something, you end up with something with, kind of like 20 gigs wasted. So you don't want to do that. And what I basically did then is just hitting that little plus here. So you're creating like an additional channel where you can say you're using the same instance as this one, but you are sending it to a different output, because I just wanted to have all the Vista Legato samples send out to specific outputs inside Studio One. So later on, I could say, I didn't color them correctly. I just did some tests. So I have my basses here, the cellos, the viola, and the violin 1, violin 2, violin 1, and I can route that, if I want, I can route that to, strings high, strings low, whatever groups. Hey, Arnold, how are you? Cheers. No Twitch today, just YouTube. I'm just fooling around a little bit. Maybe I will be on Wednesday. I will be on Twitch. So let's see. But I just wanted to do a few tests on being just testing. Just screwing around and maybe come up with another video and see if it was worth it or not. Tyler K, to be honest, is it legal? I think nothing is legal when you're below 18 because, I mean, legal, yes, but you need the, you probably need your parents to sign your contracts. So I wouldn't, to be honest, I wouldn't hurry it. If you are a composer, you definitely have to make it a long-term decision. You just have to do it on a long-term basis. You have to have that long-term thinking. You don't want to be successful and rich and, you know, you can buy all kinds of sample libraries with 25 and then lean back and enjoy the final 75 years, assuming you're getting like 100 years old. But, you know, you just want to start slowly and don't rush things. It's a little bit like friending someone on Facebook who is maybe Hans Zimmer or something. You friend Hans Zimmer, you write a simple message. If you write a simple message, simply saying thank you for connecting with me or thank you for accepting my friend request. That's it. You don't put, if you need a composer, just call me. And then on the next day, you're like, please, you know, write me. I just need money. I just need a job to work on. So this would be rushing things. I'm not saying that you do this. I'm just comparing it to building something on the long term. So if you want to get into trailer music, just take 3-4 years to practice and get good. Yeah, DJ Adam, I'm not really sure if I would just pan the instruments because everything most like, I mean, of course, if it's like a library that has been recorded, you know, within, you know, like a typical standard stereo position and not the instrument seated, then I will most likely pan it. But to be honest, then you're seeing Alexandre Desplat in Godzilla, and he said, I just wanted to have an epic string section, so I just I just arranged that string section and let them play for the left side, and then I panned the next recording to the right side, and boom, I had this epic sounding string sections. And I'm like, yeah, but then why should I take care of, you know, of all the panning and everything if somebody comes along and says, in order to create an epic sounding track, you just, you know, copying the string section to the entire stereo section or to the stereo field. Simon, Happy New Year. Yeah, completing templates. I think this will always happen. This is like always making, you know. Nathan, yes, making the template is illegal under the age of 18. You will have the template police, the template cops coming to your house and just arrest you whenever you are sitting there and creating a template. Yeah, Patrick, that's hey, thanks for being here. Sometimes people just get focused on buying libraries in hopes it would help, but for many it doesn't. Yeah, I mean that is with everything. People got, you know, there are better guitar players like me, but I recently got that Strandberg guitar, which was like way too expensive for me, but I just enjoy playing it. So in the end, it matters what you do. But it's wrong to think that this Strandberg will let me play better because in the end, it's in my fingers. So I will definitely come up. Hey, Nathan Ford, I will definitely come up with a video, you know, explaining like layering CSS and Vista or anything. We could just go into that. So, but I just want to continue at least creating like the Violence 1 in here. So also, I'm sorry if I can't read through any of these questions because you guys write so fast. It's really amazing to see all these, so I'm doing my best here. Nice, Dan. Yeah, just wanted to get on your question. You don't understand the need for Vienna Ensemble. I would understand if it was back then when composers didn't have access to monster PCs, but my PC can literally handle anything that I throw at it now. Are you sure? No, but the thing is, look at, I'm just currently having roughly 100 tracks of strings, and I'm already using 30 gigabytes. So I will, of course, go on later on and purge all the samples that are able. So I'm saving just a fraction of that entire template, and everything loads in let's say purged mode. And when I start playing, my SSD drives are probably most likely fast enough to pick up the samples I'm playing. But the reason simply is the saving time. If I have 200 instances of Contact and I save something inside Cubase or Studio One, it takes ages. It probably takes like up to 30 or even 60, maybe 2 minutes to save the entire session. So if I just save everything with a template like this, it most likely takes like 5 to 6 seconds, and that's it. And this adds up over time. So this is mostly the reason why I'm using it. It's the same thing. I agree with you. I didn't do it because my computer is too weak, or that I want to buy some slaves and have another computer with 128 gigabytes. I don't want to get into that. Because every computer, additional computer you have in your studio is like it could be a potential error source, and I just want to eliminate that. But most likely for me, it's the managing of the samples. I just want to have that outside of Studio One, so therefore I'm reducing my loading and saving times. Okay, so we just continue. Let's come up with that next. I'm scrolling down, just loading a new sine player here. Oh, just loaded on the top. Okay. So let me just scroll that down, bring that down, and I just Berlin symphonic strings, violin 1. So I can just go down here and violin 1. Did I? Violins 2, right. Okay, just want to make sure I loaded everything all right. Violins 1, so I just want to bring over a sustain legato. Let's load the entire. And I'm doing it like this, one by one, so I can have all the individual MIDI channels. If I just put that in, all the instances will be loaded within the same MIDI channel. I just want to have that split up to 1, 2, sustain soft, sustain accented, marcato long, staccato short, staccato, spiccato, pizzicato, tremolo. Bring this up a little. Hope you can see that all right here. Tremolo trills. Rapid legato. I'm not loading these additional things here. So I got 13 articulations again in here. Hey Dirk! Frohes Neues! Happy New Year! Yannick, you had trouble with Studio One crashing when autosaving using V Pro. Think I fixed it with using decoupling. Another thing I realized, I also had a crash with Vienna Ensemble, and I accidentally loaded the 32-bit version. I'm not really sure what's happening. I put the instance, the Vienna Ensemble Pro that I just attached down here to the taskbar. I put that on my Stream Deck, and when I just dragged it on my Stream Deck, it created a version that loads the 32-bit version. I'm not really sure what's going on, so maybe something happened in the same way for you. Just, that's all I could think of. So violin 1, let's load 12. 1, no, let's set them to all, of course. And then we hop over to creating these tracks. So I just duplicate these and I just name this violin 1 legato, and then I set this to 12, 1. And then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And now I have to, there's probably a way that I can do that in a continuous way that it attaches to the you know, to the new legato, to the new MIDI channels here, but I look more caring when I do it all manually. 12.6. It's like quality control. But the only thing that happens is probably messing it up. 5, 6, 7. See, there we go, 7. So basically I just have to check the number above. 8. 9. 12 and 13. So that's the cool thing. Everything is connected or should be connected, right? So I have to go back and also assign the audio channel because I want to have this routed to 31, 32. So this should be 33, 34 now. And basically I have all I have all these you know, articulations just going out on this one channel here. So you know, if I would use single instances in Studio One, instrument channels, I would probably have different outputs, but I think, you know, I hardly go in there and just, you know, balance the volume of individual instances or individual articulations. So I'm just fine by having like a general output here, and maybe I just have to name that right too. So this would be violas, violin 2, and Berlin symphonic strings, violin 1. So just name these. I love that rapid legato. It's sounds pretty cool. And also the pattern legato. So it's pretty cool to have, you know, round robin samples for legato going on. Okay, so let me just rename these correctly. I'm just pulling this up to just quickly read the articulation list. So we got legatos, then legato, then we got sustain, sustain soft, sustain accented. Then we have marcato long, marcato short. Then we have staccato, doing like a little test. That sounds like staccato. That sounds like spiccato. Then we got some pizzicato. Pizzicato, and then we have tremolo. Trills. Then we got rapid legato. And pattern legato. I'm really happy when I get my MIDI controller, my guitar MIDI controller, probably like in the, you know, March something 21, because I ordered the Jammy E or Evolution or Evolve or whatever it is. And I'm really curious how this will perform, because as you guys know, I'm not the best piano player on this planet. So I'm really happy to play all that stuff on guitar. So hopefully that will turn out working well. So we got this set up. And yes, so maybe I will just hop over and create the next instance. So let me just read through the chat here for a second. Hey Torsten, yeah, the main issue with Wii Pro is not the usage of only one machine. Yes, of course, it doesn't really make sense. I mean, you got 128 or 64 or 256 gigabytes on your machine, so it doesn't make sense if it's like hosted outside of Studio One or inside Studio One. That I totally agree with. But for me, it's, as I said before, like the saving time of my template. If I use 1,000 tracks inside Studio One or inside Cubase, and I just hit save or autosave jumps in, which I definitely don't want to miss, then you sit there for like a minute or something, or like maybe 2 minutes if you have 1,000 tracks going on. So if you can host this outside, everything what reduces the loading or the saving time, I just want to have. It doesn't really matter, you know, the thing if you deactivate these tracks, and I think it works a little bit faster in Cubase, but then again, I don't want to go back to Cubase because I totally got used to the, you know, to that workflow of just being able to just, you know, open some kind of like a plugin and just, you know, drag it over to my arrangement window here. DJ Adam, is the Berlin Symphonic strings really that different than the Metropolis series? Well, it's like completely dedicated, a new dedicated strings library. And it has been newly recorded. It has been all recorded all over again. So it's not like the, you know, the symphonic strings that have been released like many years ago. And also the cool thing is, at least this is what I could take from Hendrix or from Orchestral Tools announcement video that they recorded. And in my opinion, you can really hear that if you listen to the Legato. I think you can hear, he said that they cutted this from actual melodies. So it's not just a bunch of string players sitting there and just recording, okay, now from whatever, transition C to E, C to F, C to C or whatever. So they just played some kind of melodies as far as I understood it. And in my opinion, you can hear this. And also I'm really happy to have finally the option. Of course, well, real recorded runs, you know, directly recorded runs sound always best, but I think it sounds pretty convincing, and I don't have any reverb going on right now, just the, you know, what's in the library, so. Yeah, so and also yes, as This Is Lance already mentioned this, you got I think the high strings you got recorded in unison, but all the low strings are recorded in octaves. So just in case if you just want to split that and you know create your own things, you're just a little bit limited here. But again, the purpose of Arc is just for, you know, huge sounding trailer music and being loud and aggressive and all that. And, you know, to be honest, in trailer music, you don't end up writing some kind of like sophisticated, you know, low string sustain pattern that's like, you know, you don't do that in trailer music. It's like, so this is how it works, or you know, game music. You don't sit there as like coming up with some kind of cluster chords. So I think or I would consider the Arc series or every library, you know, like Modus, for example, too, or the entire project Symphobia line. It's all, for me, I see that as concept libraries. if I, you know, wrote my demo back then for Project Samson Phobia 2, I instantly had this kind of dreamy, whatever, you know, that like this connection that it is more like a, like some kind of a science fiction dream focused library. And then Lumina came out and it was like focused towards cartoons and fantasy. And then you had Pandora, which sounds like an entire cold science fiction, you know, not cold in terms of the sounds or the samples, but like that kind of like Borg science fiction setting, maybe also horror. So I would consider these things as concept libraries. Yannick, that's a really great tip. Make sure you don't use up all the dynamic range before the climax. This is definitely true. You most likely want to turn up your volume knob. I mean, don't confuse that with the gain or your faders. The volume knob to a certain amount that if you hit like the hardest hitting staccato note, that almost your ears, that you know you want to be careful to not damage your ears. But I would work like that. I would just turn up the volume as much as possible. So in case you're hitting like a patch real hard, that it is really, really loud, that you're like, ah, shit, that was a little bit too loud. So you will be more carefully by starting off very low. And if you hear like real recordings that get really dramatic at the end, this is where you also get that impression. If you just, you know, compress a track all the time from the beginning, you will have some kind of ear fatigue because you're exposed to that high dynamic range all the time. If you use that sparsely or wisely and just start very slow and really use the P or, you know, pianissimo or mezzo forte samples right from the beginning, you won't run into that problem of running out of energy towards the end of a track. The same goes with dynamic with a mod wheel. You don't want to put that all, you know, with the tube, but maybe start your track here and have this at the end here. But then again, of course, the Abbey Road 1 hasn't been recorded with like the highest dynamic settings. There could be a little bit more going on, but I think it's epic enough. Yeah, Thorsten, there's probably some gate or limiting. I think this is something in the limiter. I just have to check that, but I think it almost happens, or it always happens when I go off from the microphone a little bit. So I have to make sure to be, you know, at proper distance. I totally forgot. I can't even see. Let me just check my own channel because I just forgot. Oh, I see that above here. So we got like 38 viewers right now. I see that on top right. I'm new to Streamlabs OBS, which I'm currently using for, you know, for YouTube. So I don't have to program OBS Live again completely to change it. I know I could have different, you know, user settings or anything, but I just want to have it. Just want to try that too. Okay, so I think we just move a little bit to the brass side, because so far I got most of the strings libraries that I mostly use. We got Berlin Symphonic Strings, the entire section in here. Violin 1, Violin 2, violas, cellos, double basses. Then we got Cinematic Studio Strings in here. And then I got the Abbey Road 1 because I really love that sound, and the Vista cello. So I would probably add flute shorts too and all that stuff, but I just want to, you know, go through that later. So we just load the next instance because I just wanted to move to fool a little bit around with the brass. So let's load the second instance here and hope that works out all right. Let's see what happens. Please don't crash. Why is nothing happening right now? Oh, I think it takes so long because I have 48 channels. I think I was talking to Dirk or actually he responded on my Facebook post when I posted the video about setting up my new template. And there seems to be like a little issue with Studio One that it takes ages until you load like a new ensemble instance. So let's hope this is what's happening right now, because I set it to 48 instances. So this could take a little moment. Hey Kevin, how are you? Happy New Year. Jero, no, I'm using the same PC for everything. I don't have any slave PC or anything. The only purpose I want to you use Vienna Ensemble Pro for is to reduce loading times and to just have a dedicated place for all the samples, for all the orchestral samples. I can host them and just create like a template with all the instruments I want to use and mostly use, and everything I want to use. Oh, there we are. Okay, I'm glad that this was the problem. So we just want to connect this to brass. Connect, and now we are connected to brass. So I'm just moving that up here. So memory-wise and CPU-wise, it doesn't make sense to host it on the same computer, but I just want to have like some kind of like a host software that is taking care of all the instruments. So I don't have to worry about it by hosting it all inside Studio One, and especially because to reduce loading times. So let's work on that. The first thing we probably use is we just load the sine player again. What did I do? Oh, okay, so just save the project. So sine player again, and load Junk XL Brass, though that this could be kind of like a mission. I will probably not, import all the A6, A12, A3 microphones, but basically just stick with the A12. But I will start with the tuba. So let's see if this works as expected. Sustains, sustain soft, sforzando sustains, marcato long, marcato short, staccato, staccatissimo, and the rips, of course. But it creates too much problems along the way to fix it. It depends. I mean, in the beginning, I worked with the Vienna Ensemble Pro back then. It was like version 4 or 5 or something. And it always depends on what issues, what problems did you have. So maybe there's some work, and maybe we find, during the live stream, we find a little solution for you. That's actually not true that you are stuck with a template you made for yourself. You could just use basic instruments. What I loaded here are basic instruments I just want to have loaded all the time. And then I can go on here and drag and drop all the instruments I additionally want to use and work with. So all of my sessions are always different, but I just have basic sounds that I'm using all the time. I also still have to take care of Nucleus to put like all the ensemble patches in there, because I definitely want to have them. Additionally, also I want to get Araya in here. So I got all these libraries in there to just, be creative. I know that Daniel, for example, Daniel James has a different method. He just has like empty contact instances and loads in the stuff that you want, that he needs. And that's a good approach too. But I thought to myself, I just also want to eliminate that stuff on just having all my basic sounds that I'm using all the time anyway. I don't see any reason to load them all the time too. And, so I want to have these libraries in here just to be really safe, or, really sure I got all my colors, lined up on my palette, and then decide what do I want to mix? What do I want to use? And yes, of course, it takes CPU load, not just from your PC, but also from Studio One, because Studio One doesn't have to care about all the samples and the contact instances. It is all hosted outside. So the only thing it does is just like taking care of the connections. The MIDI connections. So let's see where we are here. Vienna Ensemble Pro 2, MIDI 1, 1. So I just have to not get confused and see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Why am I counting? Just like 1, 9. Brain fart. So that's a lot of power. I really love the dynamic range of Junkie XL brass. Definitely cool thing. So let's just, I said 9, so we have to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And also want to make sure that everything is routed correctly because it goes to 1 and 2. And I think these outputs are not, you know, they are valid for the entire Vienna Ensemble Pro server. So I'm betting that it comes out on, oh no. Oh shit, it's diff. Oh, okay. So I got all these auto, holy moly. So I got all these outs for the second instance, totally independent from the first one. So I can start at 1 and 2 again, and it doesn't mess with the strings. So just in case if I use something here, which is like now 28, 29, 30, 39, 32, whatever, I don't have to go back and mess these things up. So pretty clever. So let me just rename that to JXL B. There was an autosave happening. Brass tuba. And then I go over to the mixer and I create the subgroups. No, actually not. Okay, I just have to all the time. There's always something happening here. So we get these. Oh, okay. I just have to, of course, jump in here and... No, I just want to use... What are you doing wrong again, Alex? There is something I... 1, 1, 1, 2. And it uses the same output as these things here. Mm-hmm. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Got all the... Okay, so maybe... No. And the music stopped. Did we listen to the full album? So let me just put on something. Okay. So let's check what is going on here right now. I have MIDI 1, 1, and I can hear that. So the second one, I can't hear. This should be connected to... This shouldn't matter. Oh. Now I got that. I think something. Group settings. Why does it suddenly say some kind of like a group setting? I didn't. Oh, this is above here, so it's all empty. So this shouldn't be the problem. Why don't I'm not hearing? Oh, I'm sorry. I just have to set it to all. No. The other way around, like this. Okay, sorry. That's it. Okay, here we are. Yeah. 1, 2, okay, 3. Let's do this. It's kind of like confusing. I'm happy when this is over, but that's probably the reason why I want to do that live, because so it's not that boring. So, okay, 9. So we got. Let me pull that up again here and check the instruments. So I'm just copying that over. So we should have JXLB, tuba, legato. So I'm just copying that. I should have copied that before. So this should be sustain. This should be sustain soft. Now we have sforzando sustains. This sounds like this. Now we got marcato long. Oops. Has to be correct. Marcato short. And then we have staccato. And we have... Oh, how do I think I did it like this. Stis. Stis. It's not really a word, but at least I know what I... Yep. Okay. That's it. That's it for the tuba. So I got this correctly. So I just totally forgot this. The problem was that I just have to activate all because I got the MIDI channels and everything what's happening inside Studio One telling me that it's going out on module 1, channel 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. So of course, this has to be on all. This is Lance. This is true. Yeah, to perch in contact, it's unfortunately each patch that you have to put. Fortunately, it's for each sample. You know, if I perch in it makes sense too. In Sign Player, if I perch it, I will perch each set individually. I can do that, but in the end, if I just play one patch, it loads all the samples, which isn't really like a problem. But yeah, it's kind of like a track that you can't say also in contact, simply say perch all, perch entire instance or anything. Okay, Yannick, just trying to find the scene view could be useful to hide stuff you don't need, like extra vPro strings libraries. No, I didn't check the scene view so far. So I'm pretty new to version 7. I also don't know. But so far, I think it works kind of okay. I don't even know where that scene view is. Maybe here, like view. Let me check this. So maybe you can help me out and let me know where the scene view is, but I don't really know what I want to hide, or I think I will confuse it. If I hide something, I will probably mess something up because I won't find it anymore. Or thinking that I forgot to load it and suddenly realize why I use, you know, the double amount of RAM, of memory. So let's pick some decent color. Of course, guys, brass is always blue, right? Brass is always blue. Okay, so now we continue to go with the trombones. I probably load just the... Okay, let's load the next one here. Sign player. And we set this right away to module 2. We set it to all, and we set it to output 3, 4. So we got this sorted out already. And I'm not really sure if I think I just go with trombones 12, not loading. We don't have rips with the A12, which kind of makes sense, of course. 3, but I think I don't want to load all trombones A3, A6, 12. So we will probably... I can still add these later, so I don't care. So let me just load the trombones. Well, I mean, I write trailer music mostly, so who the hell? We don't need A3, A6. It's too small. Six, 7, 8. Maybe we load the rips from, and that's the beauty about, you know, the sign player. So I can just add this, load the trombones A6 rips in here. And if I want, you know, some kind of like a solo trombone, I most likely will probably just use the sustain. I mean, solo trombone staccatos. Nah, maybe just for like a... Let's do this. Let's load the solo trombone as additional thing here. So we got that loaded in the session. So we got 10 used. I got this all sorted out already, so I can just continue and go with module 2, channel 1, and then we have, I said we have 10, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I could have renamed this before, but who cares? So just make this. Okay, it's kind of like carnival time in Germany soon. So, God. So, 1, we have 2, 2, 2, 3. I actually hate this. I mean, I just try to pretend to be funny at least once a year. You know, this was always funny in my hometown. I mean, we had like the new, is it called like carnival? Like what's happening in February, kind of like February, March, and everybody in the town just try to be funny, you know, and sitting together on tables and and then everybody went home, and you know, okay, that guy will just start drinking and beat up his wife again, you know, all that kind of what everyone knew back then, but what everyone was too afraid to step in or some, you know, kind of all that weird shit that was going on, and yeah. I don't know how to get to that. I'm actually sorry, orchestral tools, that I start playing a trombone and talk about this. And okay, because I love these samples so much, so I just have to. They don't deserve to be mentioned in such kind of, you know, stupid German town carnival stuff. So legato, sustain. So we got sustains. I just have to probably copy that over. sustain soft. Next one. Then we have sforzando sustain. Then we have mark long. Is it still correct? Maybe an autosave? Yep. Yep, that sounds like marcato short. Then we have staccato, stis, and we have the rips. So these are actually the A6 rips. Just want to be precise here. And then we have the the A1. No, the solo trombone. Legato. Is that correct? I should probably use the sustains more often. I don't know. I can still load that. And still load that stuff additionally. So okay, so I got this sorted out. We will take care of colors and everything later on. And I just have to make sure. So this is Junk XL brass tuba. We have Junk XL brass trombones. Now let's load some horns. Oops. French horns. It's just nice. So we get like 130 tracks in here, and it's just 3, 4, 5 seconds. You know, my previous template that I built, I don't know, like last year for a project, had like, I think 200 tracks, and the saving time was probably something around, I think like 20 or 30 seconds. So every second you can save here, because I save very often. I just try to minimize this, because at the end of the year, hey Jimnim, so funny, you're building your template in Studio One at the moment. Yeah, let's improve all our templates right now. Oh, good question, Jimnim. Do you route short versus long and high versus low in different outputs? To be honest, no. But the great thing, what I will probably do later on, I still have to decide. But this is the cool thing about Studio One. And I'm not really sure about, I mean, I'm saying the cool thing about Studio One because I just don't know if it works in Cubase or not. But what I can do here is technically say, you know, let's create a new folder. You know, I'm creating a new folder in here and just saying strings test. One folder. Okay, so I got, yeah, blah, so no, okay. If I want to, for example, split strings low and high into different groups, I could technically go on later on and create, you know, a different folder, strings high, strings low. And let's say this is my, I'm just doing a strings test folder, but you probably should be, you should know what I'm trying to do. So I'm just taking all of these Vista high strings and set them into that test folder. And now I could create a group track, and I can go on here to that little drop down thing and say, let's assume for this moment that this brass bus is my strings high, right? Because I don't want to mess up too much on my template right now. I can simply check that. And now all of these 3 instruments I have here, of course, they are now on different places. Let's play it like this. Wait. So all of these things technically should be routed out of the brass folder, right? Which would be my strings high. I don't want to confuse you too much, but what I'm basically trying to say, I think it should be obvious that I can simply create a new folder Oh, okay. So the name, that's what I'm confused, because the name, depending on, okay, changes, and also the color. So that's a cool thing. So just let me quickly remove this track here. So you know what I'm trying to say. You could technically create folders and connect these to group tracks. So I could quickly go in here and create a new, strings high folder, strings low folder, and route all the different the instruments to these folders and buses, or to these, put them into these folders, and with one click route them all to the appropriate bus. So that's probably a cool thing. And just in case if I load or create an instrument later on, I can simply drag this one and put it simply into the folder, and it will automatically be routed to the appropriate bus. So that's a pretty cool thing. So the only thing I'm not taking care of, because to be honest, it happened just once in my career, in my entire career, that I had to split something in staccato or long and short samples. Most of the time, I just have to deliver stems. So I think it stays this way because it's always annoying. But I mean, of course, if there's something going on, I could still, if I'm just multi-exporting all that stuff. Oh, let me just minimize that. So if I'm multi-exporting something, I could just go in here and, pick the channels I want to export. And I can sort it with this. So even somebody wants, a split between long and short instruments, or high and low, whatever. I think I also remember once that I had to deliver short low and long low and short high and long high, but that was like kind of confusing. So if somebody would ask me for something like this, I would probably say, you know what, I sent you all my single instrument tracks, because most of the time it's like maximum maybe like 50 or 60 individual tracks that I'm using. So I think the easiness to just send out like 50 individual instrument tracks, and the person simply importing these individual tracks and has the possibility to route everything where they want it to have is way more easier than to set up some complicated routing like this. So let me just read. Oh, okay, I see. You create different scenes, Yannick, for example, stemming, and you hide all the stuff you don't need. Okay, so that's always, I totally get this. The brass is always bluer on the other side. Arnold, what kind of competition? I'm not really sure. Like starting a competition, I think, if I put together all the value of the stuff I'm selling, we end up with something like 300 or 400 euros. And I'm not really sure if I want to put like 10, 20 or 30 people. Let me say directly, I could do like a competition, like a scoring competition, and then handing out all my libraries or whatever for like 300 or 400, worth 300 or 400. And then afterwards, if I just do like one little mistake on that entire organization of a competition, there would be 50 or 100 people participating, and 40 or 90, depending, would be, kind of like pissed off because somebody won who didn't deserve it. I think I've seen enough from... I think I've seen enough from some kind of developer that hosted like a scoring competition back then. Okay. So know who I'm talking about right now. No, I'm just kidding, of course. I could do that, of course, but I didn't think about this. I probably think the value of the stuff that should be, or that could be a little bit higher than just all my sample libraries or all the music loop packs I'm doing. Okay, so I just want to continue with the French horns. Let's take care of some French horns right now. Also, I want to make the colors a little bit more fancy, you know, on that. Why am I scrolling all the time manually? So, you know, that green is not really like, you know, 80s green or something. So that's a little bit more modern. So a little bit more decent. Okay, so let's continue. I'm just loading the French horns now. So we hop over. Enough strings. I really love this, that you can just jump over here and create several instances right in that, so you can really just focus on the stuff. LB, that was trombones. So next thing, let's make this correctly here. Let's call this to be announced. No, tuba, of course. And I don't even know if this is like the classical term, but I just, on some things, I just like to rename it like this. So, Junk XL, brass, French horns. So let's set this right from the beginning. This would be 5, 6. This would be 3, and then load the French horn. Let's do the same actually. Let's load the A12 horns. Sustain, legato, sustain, sustain soft. Sforzando, sustain, marcato long, short, staccato, staccatissimo in the ribs. And let's do the same here. Let's load the solo legato horn at the very end. I think I like this. Okay, so we got 10 again. Let me simply jump in here. Duplicate this one, rename that first. Junk XL brass A12 legato, and then we just set this to 3, 1, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this should be now routed to 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 5. I think I just need some music in the background. Let me just switch on another. This is his new album. It's like a little bit more EDM focused. I mean, not really like trailer music, but you couldn't listen to trailer music in the background when you know, talking about stuff like this. 3, 7, 3, 8, 3, 9, 3, 10. So we should have legatos. I really love the dynamic range of that library. Okay, so now we have, let's name this correctly. So I just need to take care of the endings. So we got sustain here. Then we have sustain soft. Then we have sforzando sustains. And we have marcato long, marcato Marcato short, staccato. We have stis again. This sounds kind of idiotic. Stis. I should deserve like a real staccatissimo. Maybe I could rename it to double K. Maybe that looks better. I just have to do this because this is like... It reminds me a lot to Stuss, which is like the German word for like, or one of the million German words that somebody talks nonsense, like I do. So we just renamed that to staccato with a double K, a double C. I can't even talk today. So staccatissimo, then we have the ribs. And then we have the solo horn, legato. Love it. So, sort it out. Just bring that over. Of course. Oh, I already renamed that. So I will do the colorizing and coloring later on. Yannick, you think it's worth it to set up a pre-mixed template directly in Vienna Ensemble Pro with EQ groups and reverbs? I'm not really sure if I would do that in Vienna Ensemble Pro. I mean, you have the possibilities to work with, you know, to have like insert effects and everything going on here. But I think that would be too much confusion for me, to be honest. I would love to have this all in here, you know, taking care of my, you know, the groups in here and saying, okay, strings are here, my woodwinds, my brass is here and everything. And I got all these effects in my digital audio workstation, you know. But I mean, of course, as you prefer. I think it kind of limits me to put that on my template because it would like limit me in my creativity, because I could just have the raw sounds getting into my digital audio workstation and then go from there and change things. So I'm not really sure if it would make sense. Oh, Jimnim, I see what you mean right now. Yeah, so this is one of these moments that I'm saying like stupid me, because I know what you're talking about. I could say instrument. That's what you were talking about probably. And then say count 10 and say... No, but that would be new instrument. Ascending. I would probably have to test that. Let's load the trumpets. But I know what you're talking about. Yeah, it's just me not, you know, seeing the woods because of all the wood of all the trees. Orchestral sign player again. So let's load the trumpets. I think I load a smaller. Let's load the A3 trumpets. Sustain. Sustain soft, as for Sando sustain, marcato long, marcato short, staccato, staccatissimo in the ribs, and then let's again load the solo trumpet here. Yes, you're right, existing instrument. I would just try that right now, so I think that should... Thanks so much for mentioning this. It's kind of ironic. Somebody who's just doing, you know, YouTube videos and all these things about working efficiently and then forgetting about these things. But that's me. Okay, so we got 10 instruments. So let's check this. So we just hop in here and we say Junkie XL brass trumpet. And then we say type instrument, existing instrument, right? Ensemble Pro 2. And then we start at, where did we end? I start at 4. Right. And then ascending, input, default. And then hit, I think we have 10. Do we have 10 again? Yes. And then we say, oh, look at this. I learned something. Thank you so much for mentioning this. Okay, so I just have to, would be cool if I can say, you know, adjust naming from track names from Vienna Ensemble Pro instrument, but that would most likely not be possible. So I just have to rename this manually quickly. We just have trombone, trumpet legato. We also have to, I did a mistake here, so we just have the A3. Anyway, I can just copy that. Just put that in here and say sustain. Then we have sustain soft. We have SF set sustain. Then here we have marcato long, marcato short. Just have to. Okay. Quickly checking the phone. So we have sustain marcato short. We have staccato. We have staccatissimo. And then we have rips. And then we got the solo trumpet. Legato. That should be it. Yeah, that saved some time. I'm actually not really sure why people say they don't like the Junk XL trumpets. I've seen that from people saying that there should be that they are synthy sounding or something. I don't know. If I think it sounds a little bit too synthy, what often helps me is to just reduce a little bit of the body. Just have it a little bit, you know, let's do that quickly. So what is the output? Let's just copy that. Let's just name that correctly, Junk XL trumpet. So let's quickly load. Do I still have the shortcut working? Yes. So we got the infinity EQ in here. So in my opinion, it's just what people think. It's because of the synthy sounding whatever. Maybe we could come down a little bit here. You know, reduce, of course. I mean, you would have that bus at the end anyway. You would never, maybe in a fanfare or something like that, you would have that. But if you're just playing a passage like this, you would have that bus right at the end. So I think what people think when it sounds too synthy or something, synthy, that they're just playing at full with full modulation wheel up, or that you can just equalize them a little bit. And it starts to sound much better. I mean, in the end, it's a matter of taste anyway. I'm not saying that if people have that impression that they sound not good, I just don't understand it, because I think they sound pretty great and very dense. So maybe it's that hall or whatever. So we have the trumpets. Do I want to go through the process and loading, like the cinematic studio brass? Because that's quite... Let's do it. Let's do it for a little bit. Cosmic, thank you so much. Jimnim, you asked something very important. The BBCSO. The thing is, the Spitfire player is not multi-timbral. Able to do multi-timbral or to set up multi-timbral instruments. You just have to load several instances, like I did here with, with the strings. Actually, I should make use of this way more often here, because I got this. I can just show my strings. Just probably have to set this up right. Show libraries. Show Spitfire. No, I just have to rename them correctly. Show strings. Show all. Now I just have to set this up correctly, maybe with the naming and everything. Sorry, I just want to say, yeah, if I just load the Abbey Road Studio One, you just have to load. Sorry, I have to go over here. You just have to load. You can see these are all Abbey Road 1 low strings. This is the long concertino. This is the long articulation sustain. Then you have the one down here, pizzicato. Then you have spiccato, and I just loaded each patch individual by unloading all of these. You can do this here. When you hit that little sign over here, you can unload all the other articulations. This is the only way you do that. I kind of don't understand it, because they are actually forcing people to work with key switches. And to be honest, I hate key switches. It kind of limits me to know that I can only get to staccato sample or to a marcato or a sustain sample or pizzicato or whatever articulation by putting in another MIDI note. And it doesn't matter if it's a MIDI note in the lower register or if it's articulation or expression maps or however this is going to be called. There are from 100 composers out there. Everybody who wants to work with the orchestra and doesn't really do it for a real orchestra session or creates their stuff on staff, just with, sheet paper or in the note editor, but just using the piano roll. I'm just asking, what is the purpose of using articulation or expression maps? Because it makes sense to me when you're writing this on, an orchestral sheet, and then you want to switch from, sustain to spiccato or something, that you pick the other articulation that you can see, that you can read on the paper for the orchestra musicians, and then also switch that articulation in your sequencer in Cubase or whatever to hear it. I don't know if it's really kind of if there is too much setting up because people want to look important. Please don't be angry at me, but I think sometimes it's yes, of course, I'm using expression maps, I'm using this, I'm using that, but I don't write actual music for real orchestra. To be honest, if I write music for an orchestra to be performed, I'm just sending an orchestrator all MIDI information or my entire Studio One or Cubase session and say, do your thing, I will pay you, rather than going through the process of 2 or 3 days of just, you know, working out the score. I really appreciate score. I can read notes, you know, not really like professional, not really like very good. I could write it myself, but I don't want to spend my time sitting in front of white paper carrying with black dots. I have no fun. You know, I like to talk English, but I don't like to sit there and just, you know, play around with the words or something. And I don't know how to compare, but sorry for the rant, but hey Vanessa, Happy New Year, and thank you. Actually, it was you telling me how to create multiple instances, you know, so thank you so much for that tip. I also have to thank many other people, like Toby, if you're just watching, you know who you are, for explaining me how to set up all that you know, ensemble, Vienna Ensemble Pro stuff. I mean, I know how I kind of did it before, but I just wanted to go with another solution I thought it was great using, and then I went back to, you know, using multi-timbral instances. So maybe I think the music is a little bit too game-like. Let me just pick another album here. Let's just pick another one here. No. Okay. Okay. Let's have some 80s. Hey, Grim Studios, greetings from Germany. Greetings to Germany from Germany. So, yeah, let's load something else, because right now we just took care or just talked or dealt with a sine player. So let me just Junk XL, brass, and let's say trumpet, a trumpet, and then now let's hop over to Contact and work with this again and say Cinematic Studio Brass, because I have a specific method of setting this up. So I just want to load. We have the trombones, we have the trumpets and the horns. So let's load the trombones. I think I even didn't do a batch resave on Studio Brass, Cinematic Studio Brass, so I definitely have to do this. What I'm doing when I'm using you know, the stuff from the Cinematic Studio series, I just load all of these instances in here. So we have 7 articulations. And I want to do it in the following way. So let's load this in here. 3. Make this small for now. 4. 5. The music. Can you hear the music? It sounds a little bit like I should running, you know, while talking about that template. Yeah. Okay, so I loaded all of these instances here, and what I'm doing right now is, if you hold the Alt key, you can unload all the other articulations you don't need, and you can save RAM. You can save a little bit of memory when you're setting this up. So on the second one, I just want to have the staccato loaded. On the third one, I just want to have the muted. The fourth one should be all about the flutter. The fifth one is double tongue only. And then we have the marcados. And the final thing here, we have the rips. So you can, yes, of course, I could resave this right now here as a new session, but I got it in here. I think I could also save this as a preset inside Vienna Ensemble Pro, but yeah, I just don't want to go into that right now. So we got this sorted out on MIDI channel 1, 2, 3. Let's load this like have it like this because I just have to check over, move this over for a second and see. Okay, another thing I have to do, quickly moving back, I just have to go through 7, 8, and then I have to go to 9, 10. I have to go to 5 and say all again. And now I create a new instrument by saying Cinematic Studio Brass, trombones. How many did I have? 7, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right. 7 instruments existing. Starting with... Shit, I forgot again. 5. Okay. Okay, now I just have to activate the audio, right? Okay. Now I open that and I can move it over to my monitor and just say, okay, so we got sustain, staccato, muted. Or we got legato, staccato, muted. I should probably load another instance with the sustains, but I can take care of that later. Muted. Then we have flutter, double tongue, marcato. Flutter, double tongue, marcato. I really love these marcato patches. Okay, it's the lowest note. Pretty aggressive. And then we have the rips at the very end. Good. Just minimize this. Save the entire thing. Takes a little bit longer now, but that should be okay. So no. CSB trombones. So for now I'm not talking about. Oh, sorry, I totally forgot the tuba. And I should load the solo bass trombones, of course. Well, I don't care. I can do that in another patch here and just move them around. Let's do this. Yeah, I would be curious about the synchron strings, but then again, you know, I bought the dimension strings back then and I just used them, I think, on 1 or 2 projects. And then I got a little bit away, got carried away into new libraries. And so I'm not really sure if I should load dimension strings and put them in here or even take care about buying, you know, synchron strings, because I got so much stuff already. And at some point, I don't know. Hey, Hybrid Punk, how are you? Happy New Year! So we just load a new instance here. Let's load the tuba and the bass trombone. So we just, maybe I can, yeah, I mean, of course I could do that without messing up the, yeah, I don't know. So this would be 11/12. So I will just set this up because I think it doesn't matter if it's like the bass trombone or the tuba is first in this setup. Solo tuba. And I'm not really sure if I should load all the articulations in here because I just want to have it as an, I think the most important thing here would be, to be really honest, just have to activate the audio. Oh fuck it, come on, we just load the entire thing here. It sounds so cool. And I just want to have it all loaded. So 1, 2, 3, so we have 6. Second, third. Four. Five and 6. Okay, so let's unload these. Let's do tenet style, reverse, inverted trills. Then we have flutter, staccato, and sustain. Okay, and we have 6. All. And then I can say CSB, tuba, 6 instruments, starting at 6. Ascending. Nice. So we got legato, staccato, we have flutter, we have tremolo, trills, I mean, and then we have marcato and rips. Trills, marcato, and rips. I think I have to just turn down my... Okay, let me just... So, I deserve to sit a little bit here. Hey Art, cheers from Armenia. Wow, cheers from Hamburg. Glad to see you here. So that's what I'm strangely seeing, that I have this mini feed here, and I don't see if somebody subscribes to the channel, because there should be some alarms going on. So let me just... You may hear... Yeah, sorry. You... Okay. Wow, thanks for all your likes already. Seeing like 34 likes. Thank you so much. Oh, I'm just reading what was going on. Because Thorsten said, WTF? What happened? So, this is Lance. You said, I would love a video series of streams of tips and tricks on favorite mix selections and EQing of popular libraries like Cinematic Studio Strings and Brass. To be honest, yes, we could do this, of course, and this is always very great to see something like this. But I would, to be honest, this is what I would rather do. It's a little bit, and I compare this lots of times to being in the kitchen, because you know, you can go through all your recipes and just say, okay, you need like 3 spoons of salt, you need that much flour for something, you need that much water, that much milk, that much eggs to you know, bake like a cake or something, or prepare a meal. But what I would focus on is just test around and see what mix you like most. You know, there is this, I remember that score from the movie Wanted, and I think it was written by somebody whose name I always forget. Danny Elfman, right? I'm really sorry, Danny, but it's kind of, I mean, I'm terrible with names anyway. So the score for that movie was rather close-mic'd, and it kind of drew my attention, or caught my attention, because it was like really close mics, and because the movie itself was kind of like an action movie. But it was really fascinating to hear a score with such closed mic, or you know, a minimal setup of instruments, and it really worked. So this is not something, you know, Danny Elfman was reading on some forum. You know, if you have an action movie, just, you know, go with a smaller section. Or he just fooled around, and he was probably trying to accomplish something, and he tested around and found it most likely would work well. So this is what I would like you to do on combining the microphones you think you want to have. If you want Deca tree microphones, if you want spot microphones, if you have several spot microphones, what do you want? Then again, it also depends on your session. You know, does it really work on a project, on project A, or does it just work on project B? You know, you never know what you're going to write for, so you can't say, I am going to have, for example, you know, you have so many possibilities. For example, here in look, I get like the Al Myerson Junkie XL close mics. I got the microphone, the mid microphones. I got the tree. I got the room. I got the surround. I got the room and reverb. I got the surround microphones and reverb and everything. So all of this has been set up, but I can't say, you know, the surrounds and the close mics and the mid microphones and the surround and reverb sounds great. I'm going to use that from now on. You always have to make sure to understand what is needed for the next upcoming project. And of course, if you write for yourself, you just have to, you know, just explore what you like. You know, I'm still on the search for finding my sound, but I think what, you know, defines me is that I just layer instruments and I decide what works best in a specific moment. Hey Nacho, there is actually, I think, no fader limit or anything. So I mean, basically all professional versions have unlimited, you know, track amounts, and you don't need to take care of anything like this. And I don't know. Technically, I would just I would be happy with like, maybe like, if I would be reduced to work with 64 tracks or anything, or 32 tracks, I think I would find a way to do it too. So Yeah, hybrid punk, you say it. You find that mix choices vary from project to project. Like, for example, in a current video game project, I'm just using the closed mics and chamber strings. I totally agree with this. And this is where I think I just, all I'm trying to say is that I want to save you some time, because I did that back then. I just, found some weird EQ settings on strings, and I found these, screenshots of how somebody would EQ his violas. And he said he found out that these curves on violas sound really, really great. And then I took whatever violas and tried to apply these settings, and I was just, oh, this sounds great. But did it really sound great? Because it wasn't even the same library. I just used that setting. So assuming the audio engineer, engineering the library recording, maybe took care of that already. So I double kind of reduced that, frequency, ending up in a weird sound, which I thought sounds great. So I would always decide on the project you're working on, what you're actually doing, what you're going for, Yeah, Nacho, if you, I think, I know a lot of people, including Alex McCullough, he's creating some really, really great stuff in FL Studio. But I would think if you want to professionally, or if you want to, get into the world of orchestration and you want, kind of like an unlimited amount of tracks, just go with Studio One or Cubase or anything. And I'm not really sure if FL Studio really has a limit. Is it not just a smaller version that has a track limit? Or is it really also one of these professional versions too? So we got the tuba right here. So let me just do the following and move the tuba up here. I hope I'm not going completely messing it up. But I just want to have this sorted out. But it could probably... Well, no, I'm going to use module 7 for... Because I want to load the bass trombone here. Let's load the next one. Okay, sort this out. 11, 12, 13, 14. Then we make this 6, 7... Okay, solo bass trombone. Let's see how this sounds. Yeah, that's interesting. Just reading. You just copied from what Alan Myerson was doing on a Pirates track, and it sounded shocking in mine despite having the same plugins. Yes, of course it sounds shocking because you most likely don't have the same samples, the same recordings like he did, And it's like, even if the arrangement is a little bit different, even if the key changes on an arrangement, it doesn't mean, technically or physically, no EQ setting should work anymore because you have an entire different frequency range. I mean, if you take it really particularly. So this is what people kind of like, over worry or overthink. I also know lots of composers, they say, you don't use send and returns for your reverb. You just use insert effects. Well, nobody does this. And I even remember a forum discussion of some, famous composer jumping in. Or no, yes, actually, I think it was Hans Zimmer. And he said, I would never deliver a score or the stems with having the dry and the wet signal, stemmed out. Being separated, because then Alan Myerson, who most likely probably mixes Hans Zimmer's tracks, has the ability to, tweak whatever he wants. But then again, I'm thinking I don't have an arranger, a mixing engineer, and I don't deliver these things. I even don't work on Hollywood movies. So why should I have the same approach on doing it only because someone else is doing it? And I experienced this during some kind of like a Facebook post or something. People jumping in and saying, why do you do your reverbs like this? Because I was told by Hans Zimmer to do it like this. Yeah, but the thing is, like, if you really want to do it like this, then of course do it. But I would always, question the purpose. Does it really make sense for me to do it? And if it doesn't make sense, why should I do it? So solo bass trombone. Let's load that 7 times because we got 7 articulations in here. 3. 4. 5. 7. Why do I always, this is also a funny thing. I always count the instances, but it always moves on automatically. Yeah, that's typically me. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, muted is also separated into short and sustain. So I'm not really sure if I should split that up too, but I can still decide and load that later on. Flutter. Then we have double tongue. Then we have marcato. And we have the ribs. Okay, so now I have to be careful. 7, this is all set up. 13, 14. So I think I don't want to mess up. I don't care if the trombone or the tuba is sitting above this because nobody cares about how the instruments are hosted inside Vienna Ensemble Pro. So all I want to make sure is that everything is set up correctly here. So we just continue with module, what is it? 7. So CSB, bass trombone, existing instrument. We continue with 7. We have 7 tracks, and we say okay. And we have to activate the audio channel. Dominic, hey, no, I don't have a slave computer. I got everything loaded on one computer here. So we got Legato. Next would be staccato. Next would be definitely muted. Flutter. This is double tongue. This is marcato. Basically, you just need the marcato sample because everything is in here. And the rip. Okay, so let's save it. So it's like 6-7 seconds for 170 channels. So that's pretty impressive, I think. Let me just change the colors. Why do you... Just stick with my selection here. Just changing the color. Yeah, Dominic, that's true. What I also like about this is what I'm, also working on currently is that you can set up. I think I showed that in a few of my videos or live streams, that I created some kind of a files tab in here, and where I can simply jump in and say, oh, I need aria in that template, whatever, because I just have to have the sound and I just want to have the legato. I can quickly go on here and load that and drag and drop that entire library, including this snippet is just empty, but I just loaded the legato articulation of aria right into my session. So I can basically have, I prepared lots of these things right now here. So I loaded nucleus, I have aria, I have technically, like the angry brass stuff. I could quickly go in here and just put it right into the session. However, I could, define my entire template like this, and this was originally my plan. But on the other hand, I was really thinking about, it just takes a little bit of time to do that all, and then the saving process by having all of these samples loaded all the time. I could set this entire thing up purged or deactivated, but it still would load. So, and I just want to minimize that load, that workload, and then the loading and the saving time. So this is basically the reason why I'm doing this with Vienna Ensemble Pro. So we got some brass sitting in here. I think I would just have to probably go through the. Not really sure. I think I should do a little rest here. Let me just quickly change the scene for a little bit, because I think that would that would be enough. We already did like 2 hours. Almost 2.5 hours of working template. And yeah, but what I can really say is if you set up your template or what your workflow, I will come up with a video and just talking about all kinds of options and how to set up specific different or a variety of template approaches, how to do a template. If you want to have a modular template, if you want to have a template in here, if it's makes sense for you to use, Vienna Ensemble Pro, just going through all of these things. I think it's important to just understand what you really want to do, not what everyone else does. I just want to have the Vienna Ensemble Pro stuff sitting there because I just want to have all these sounds available right away when I start making music. Yannick, so when you're using Libs to do this, is a problem for me because you drag and drop it into a folder structure. It doesn't add the routing. Well, actually it does. If you define, let me just quickly change switch again here. Because I'm not really sure if we're talking about the same thing, but if you just define your brass folder here and you define a group track, a bus track down here where the brass is sitting. Where's my brass, by the way, here? And you just pick brass, then everything you drag into that folder will be routed to the appropriate bus. No, doesn't do this. Gamaliva, thanks. Great to hear that you got your first audio jungle track approved. Thanks to your tutorials. Thank you so much. Glad to hear that. So hope it will be used a lot. And it will bring you some money. Yannick, that's strange. I don't know why this is not working. So if I just, doing a test, if I just open, let me just try this for a second, because if I just have, let's load these 3 Angry Brass instances right into this empty thing, and then I put them into the sound effects folder in here, and I set this to sound effects. You see that these tracks are routed into the sound effects on the sound effects bus. So I don't understand why this is not working for you. Maybe you're trying to load them directly into the folder. Could this be? But I think that's not possible anyway. So let's remove selected tracks and instruments. So I think I just have to do a rest here, because it's like I'm sitting here since like 12 or 11, just working on that template. So it's like 6 hours straight. So I think I did, I did enough today. And Yannick, do you have maybe a like an artist version or something, or if you use instruments instead, the routing works? That's kind of strange. I don't know what's going on. I can't think of anything. What is going on here? Yeah, I mean, I'm not straight. I had some dinner in between. I also took a shower. So it's not like sitting here for like 6 hours straight. I never do that. I couldn't do for, sitting like 6 hours or 8 hours and just writing music or anything. Yeah, so maybe we find a solution for that. Maybe you just ask on the Studio One forum on Facebook. There are a lot of people, that maybe can help out if you didn't already. So I think I want to continue that stream. Maybe I'm there tomorrow and talk a little bit about, but I also have to do, a little bit of a stream by featuring, symphonic strings by orchestral tools. So we'll go a little bit more through all the patches. I will most likely do that tomorrow, and then I will definitely continue to do this, because I will move on, taking care of all the instruments that I want to have in here, and then also we want to set up all the reverbs and, do some basic, kind of like basic processing, maybe just like basic, compression. Also, I should have probably set like a limiter at the end. Just probably have to do that now. Just loading an instance of invisible limiter. I should have done that before. So adding this. Yeah, so I think I would call it a day for this stream, and I would definitely come back and maybe in the meantime, or maybe tonight or tomorrow morning, I start, or I continue working on that template. Solo bass trombone. I just have to save this. Yep, and call it a day for today. So thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for joining in. And oh, there's a Cubase hangout going on at the Steinberg Cubase channel starts. Yeah, so if you're interested, you know where to go. Hey, Jazz Dude. Yeah, so we'll probably be there tomorrow and talk a little bit more about symphonic strings by orchestral tools and, checking all the patches, the articulations a little bit more closely. And yeah, so who knows, maybe I will be there on Thursday too. Let's see. So I just have to start the year a little bit slow, then a little bit slower starting this year, a little bit slower than I ended the last, by taking care, about my body and everything, to just do a little bit more sports and working out, because I also want to do that job in like 30 years from now. So always remember to take care of that. Okay. So now you know. If you're interested in Cubase Hangouts, let's now you know. Hey, Storm Physics, I think I didn't say hi so far. So yeah, we will see. We will continue the streams here on YouTube. Maybe we'll move over to Twitch. I will just see what kind of works, better, or let's say, which is more effective. I think one big plus is that if I do the stream right away on YouTube, that the recording will stay there forever and be available as a video forever, whereas I would have to export it and import it to YouTube. And I'm not really sure. I don't like mixing platforms. I could have just streaming to two platforms right at the same time, but I think it makes a little bit more sense to dedicate entirely to one platform. Okay, so I would say enjoy your day, enjoy your evening or your morning, wherever you are. And take care of yourself, and probably see you tomorrow then. Bye, and thanks everyone for being here. Ciao.